Did the market decline ruin their retirement plan? Let's go into this. I've been thinking about this quite a bit. I'm reading this article on Kitsis.com about the gamification of Monte Carlo analysis. Look, Kitsis and this guy, my man Derek, they're just freaking guys. They're nuts when it comes to writing. They're machines. I've always felt this guy's a machine. I don't think he bleeds. I don't think he's human, these people, because they're freaking awesome. Anyway, so I've been reading a lot about from Kitsis because it's so much in the Kitsis stock. I subscribe to it, and I don't give it nearly enough reading as I should. But when I do, it just makes me think. And of course, that you can smell the smoke of all the thinking. My brain's on fire. Anyway, so I'm looking at, we're going to do John and Julie Sample. John and Julie Sample. We're going to have them live in Iowa. All right. The reason we have them live in Iowa is because I had a number of clients last week. In fact, a guy I'm talking to later today from Iowa. All right. So we're going to have John live until he's 85. We're going to have Julie live until she's 90. So John will predecease Julia. Julia will be a widow for about 5 years or so. All right. We're just throwing these numbers out there. It doesn't matter. All right. Their net worth consists of, we're not using the money they have in cash. We can just zero that out. It won't matter. But they have $314,000 in investments in John's IRA, which is in Wellington Fund. They get a house that's worth, we'll say, $300,000. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. I mean, the investments matter, but the house doesn't matter in this regard because it's not part of cash flow. Remember, retirement plans are based on cash flow. Cash flow is all that matters. And your house is not part of cash flow until you convert it into cash by a reverse mortgage, downsizing, or taking a home equity line of credit, which in of itself may not be a cash flow because you have to pay it back. Anyway, so they got $314,000 in Wellington. All right. There, boy. Bob wants to say hello. There we go. All right. $314,000 in Wellington. Yes, my breast stinks. Their goals are they're going to retire right now. So they both retire. They're both retired right now. They have $3,500 a month in living expenses. Now that does not include health care. All right. So hold on a second. Excuse me. They got right here. So the health care is about $5,000 a year because they're going to go on the exchange, and because they don't make that much money from a taxable income perspective, they'll qualify for Obamacare. All right. So anyway, we're saying about $5,000 a year, $400 a month for healthcare, if that makes sense. All right. Now their income is nothing. The only income they're going to have is Social Security. Julie will get $2,000 a month at her full retirement age of 66. John will get $2,750 a month at his full retirement age of 66 as well. So between their Social Securities, they're going to get $4,750 a month. Not too shabby. That's $55,000 a year basically. All right, they got no pension, nothing. The only amount of money they have is in Wellington at $314, and they get a house that's $300,000. All right. Then we got to look at healthcare for retirement healthcare costs. I usually charge about $550 per person once Medicare kicks in. That includes Part B, because Part A is free, but Part B is your physician services. That's about $200 a month, I say. Part D is your prescription drugs, so it's about $50 a month. That's $250. Then you're gonna get a supplemental policy, and you still gotta get your eyes, teeth, and ears as well. So basically, we're saying it's gonna be about $550 a month, $500 to $550 a month per person once you're on Medicare. All right, so now, and they're spending $3,500 a month. That's $42,000 a year on top of Medicare. So if Medicare is costing another $1,000 a month, give or take. So their total draw is about $5,000 a month when all is said and done. So we're going to go to retirement. I'm going to show you something here. And they're sitting at 74%. So we're looking pretty good. We're not great, but, again, we're going to show you what that means here from a pure cash flow perspective. So right now they got no income coming in, all right? They're going to pull from their portfolio because Social Security isn't kicking in. They got to pull their entire living amount from their portfolio. So it costs them roughly $5,000 a month to live. And then they got to pay tax. So that right there still keeps them well within Obamacare qualification. And then, of course, when they're 65, they'll go on Medicare anyway. So in 2023, there's going to be 5,000, basically 45 to 5,000 a month to include taxes. That's basically 60,000 bucks that got pulled from the Wellington Fund. 2024, $70,000 that got pulled from Wellington Fund because their healthcare costs went up, and then they'll start taking Social Security at their full retirement age. All right. So we're looking pretty good here, man. I mean, I'm only giving them what 5.3% rate of return with a pretty significant downside risk here. That'd be a 25% down on any given year, which is worse than Wellington has ever had. And yet we're still coming in at about 74%. I'm pretty comfortable with that. 100%. I got no qualm with that at all. Because the worst case scenario, this is what I tell people all the time, is that they're going to have that from Social Security right there. Now, this is adjusted for inflation with only a 2.4% COLA. But I mean, literally, the worst case scenario is they'll have the equivalent of $5,500 a month, and basically a little bit more than $5,000 a month in Social Security. Literally, the worst case scenario. Now, again, I mean, would that be enough? I don't know. But if that's the worst case scenario, plus you got a house that's worth, $200,000, or no, $300,000, yeah, you're gonna be fine. I mean, you can, again, take reverse mortgage, sell the house, whatever you got to do. Now, that does not include long-term care. And everyone's like, what about long-term care? Yeah, I'm a mess. I haven't shaved, haven't showered, haven't brushed my chops yet. But it's just too nice. The dogs want to come outside, so I had to get this video done while I'm thinking about it. So I'm like, oh, I get it. That sucks, but be it as it may. So what about long-term care? Again, the whole point about long-term care is you're going to keep working because of that. The likelihood of you needing it is, in terms of any significant cost, is very minimal. We know that for a fact. If you do need it, you sell your house, you move into a facility. That's it. And on top of that, check this out too. I just want to point this out. This is 74% because we assume that Julie survives John by 5 years, I think. Let's see, right here. So here's John dying. So Julie now is just relying on John's Social Security. That's it. I mean, that's a pretty significant hit to income. So if we have John dying at the same time Julie does, they're looking pretty good, man. Let's see, we have him dying at 90 as well. All right, so watch. And again, I don't like that because I want to assume that someone dies earlier than the other person, essentially leaving the woman, and now we're at 77%. So we're good. But that's not what I want to show you about. I'm painting the picture here of well, that's 88 for some reason, whatever. But now we're going to do a market decline. So remember, we're at 75%, 74%. We're fine. I would say absolutely go to retire. I get no qualm with that at all. 72%. All right, so we're sitting pretty. We got John dying at what age? Oh, 80. Why did it change? I want 85. John died at 85. Let's just make I'll say 86. I don't care. I just want to get over the 75% threshold. So I want to show you something here. Again, 75% is my go-to. I'm trying to get, there you go, 75%, perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do, though, is we're going to have the Wellington drop by 20%. Is that what we had? Hold on a second. Is that 314? 314 now. We want to drop by 20%. So 314 times 0.8 should be 251. All right, so we're going to have Wellington at 251. So it's dropped by 20%. 44, or Wellington's trading at $70.59 a share. So we'll just say 250 divided by 70.59. That's 3,541 shares. All right, good. So 3,541 shares. All right, so remember, we were at 75% before. Again, let me explain what 75% meant. That means 25% of the time you had no money left over, no financial assets, no investments. You still had a house, you still had Social Security. But 75%, not only did you die with money, a good amount of money, you died on, in this case, the median liquid asset base was over $60,000. What are you doing, buddy? Hey, Finn, stop digging. Hey, no. So not only did you die with a house and Social Security, the median in today's dollars, you die with $60,000 left in today's dollars. That's when Julie died. So you're sitting fine. All right, that's what that meant, 75%. 25% of the time, you had no financial assets. You still had your home and Social Security. But 75% of the time, you still had financial assets, plus your home and Social Security, plus you died on a median. A median means 50% of the time you had more, 50% of the time you had less, well over $60,000. All But now we just got a 20% market decline. Well, inherently, our plan's not going to look as good, is it? Oh my goodness, we're only at 31%. Huh, isn't that weird? So let's go to confidence. What happened here? Huh. Do you see what's happening? Nothing has changed other than the 20% market decline. So what has happened? We're assuming that you could get another 20% market decline. But actually, it's not a 20%, I should say. It's going to be we're assuming you could get another 25% market decline on top of the 20% we just went through. Now, what's the likelihood of Wellington going down another 25% on top of the 20% we just went through? Has it ever happened? No. Could it happen? Sure. Has it ever happened? It has never happened. Not even close. Not even close. We can actually look at the Wellington Fund. And again, I don't know. You see, in 1930, in 1931, it did do that. It fell 21%, 26% respectively during the midst of the Great Depression. But you know what else happened those years? As inflation went down 2.3, -9, -10. So it's deflation, then -5. It's hard to see that happen again, but I mean, anything could happen. It did happen. Down 21% in year one and 25% the next year, for sure. That did happen, but also the price of goods went down too. So the net portfolio reduction when you factor in inflation wasn't 26%. It was 17% here, and then 19%. Again, that's the worst. And then we got 35% in 1937. All right, this is Wellington. Yeah. And then you can see, 1946, 1947. 1950, you'll see even 73 to 74, 11 and 17%. And I mean, it never has, since then, hasn't done anything. I mean, even in 2001 and 2 was up. 2000, 2001 was up, and 2002 was down. I mean, again, it could happen, but not likely. So now we're at 31%, and the reason we're at 31% because we're already down, man. We're already down 20% from where we just were. We're down to 250, and if it fell another 31%, and at the same time fell another 28%, 25%, at the same time we're on top of a 20% decline before, and we're adjusting for inflation. Yes, we're going to be in a world of hurt for sure, but even here, we still have 31% likelihood of having money left over. And our median right here, we run out of money at 87 is our median liquid net worth. We had money, this is when Julie is 87 years old, we had money at a median all the way up until 84, 85, 86, 87 years old. Even then we still had $1,600, but still, we didn't really run out of money. 50% of the time we had more than nothing until 87 years old, man. I mean, and that's assuming that you're spending. I mean, again, I'm not saying this isn't making nerve-wracking, but that's assuming that your spending didn't drop at all. Our expenses are 70, 77, 82, 84, 87, 90, 103, and then our spending drops by $30,000 when John dies, but our income dropped by $38,000. Is Julie still going to be spending that kind of money? I highly suspect it won't. But this is after. I hope this makes sense. This is after a market crash of market decline of 20%. You're saying we have a possibility of having another one. Not only another 25% crash, you have a possibility of having another one on top of that, which has never happened. We never had a 20, 25, 25%. And this is where the Monte Carlo can lead us a little bit askew because we're like, what's that likelihood of happening? As if we live in this vacuum. So now if we go back to profile, and we're just going to make this, again, our goals, because I want to show you again how this works. I think we had 4,500 shares or something, 4,450. There we go. Let me show you how this works again. You think a 20% market to crash? We go to confidence. See here, we're at 314. We're assuming a 25% market crash takes us down here, and yet even here we still have a probability of success of 75%, which is well within reason. Anyway, the point being, if you still have a 75% probability of success after a 20% market crash, man, you're good, man. And I can't guarantee anything, but just like, man, The likelihood of having another worst case scenario after a 20% decline, not high. Now, I hope this makes sense. I just had to get off my chest. Let me hear your thoughts. We'll see you